I'm watching this video. First of all, I want people to understand my mind and my mental capacities of where oh great, it's disobeying me. But anyway, I just want to ask a question to the scientific minds out here, and I want them to entertain this. If there's any experts out there that just happens to hear this video, first of all, let you know a little bit about myself. I've studied the mind for about 10 years, 10 or 11 years. I think I know as much about it, or not. I know things that I don't think other people perhaps know. And that's because I lived with severe ADD for years. And just so people know, anybody with severe ADD, they live in what I call the matrix. It's a world of daydreams. You're always daydreaming. Spend most of your life daydreaming, which is the same area of the brain that Einstein used, but that doesn't mean I'm not aware, I don't know what the percentage of awareness that I have in the world. I probably shouldn't have said that, because now you're going to question my mental clarity, probably. But when I'm aware, I'm very aware. It's not that I'm not aware. It's just it's not something I normally live in, and I don't like living in the other realm. So, anyway, with that said, I did work in the medical field for 20 years. So I'm not saying that I'm not aware. It's just I'm always in the other place, in the other part of my brain. And sometimes I'm highly aware of things that, like a dog is aware of a scent that only he can see. The ADD it's not like you're not aware. It's not like the dog isn't aware of the other world. But when a scent dominates his mind, it's more dominant. So it's not like his other senses aren't working, but the nose is pretty dominant. So with ADD, certain things are dominant that captures your focus as far as your attention. Let's put it that way more. But it's pretty powerful. And I think it's the same area of the brain that Einstein used, I think. And I'm starting to learn to use my other part of my brain. But I can't say that I've used my brain in a controlled fashion like Einstein. I used it more against me than for me. Let's put it that way. In a sense. I don't want to get too deep on the psychological level. But anyway, getting back to the question I want to ask, which is going to kind of blow your mind. I know y'all out there, the scientists, don't believe in God and all that stuff, but I've got, since 14 years old, I've got, how many years would that be? I'm 62. I work in the medical field, so I'm not stupid, and I've studied the mind for 10 years. I'm not stupid on that either. And I know what awareness is, probably more than just about anybody. Now, am I disciplined enough to stay in it? Not really. But I'm going to fix that. And I've noticed that memory and the flow of information, I guess like the flow of time is, I know how to use my mind in ways that other people, I'm sure, can't control because they don't quite understand it. But anyway, with all that said, let's see, I'm 62 years old, just now learning how to use my mind a little bit. 62 minus 14. That means for 48 years, I've known about God. And God, first of all, since you guys all don't understand God, let me explain it to you in a scientific way so you all can explain it. Understand it, I mean. When you get born again, for example, and this isn't going to be about a time thing that God showed me, so stick with me here. Don't get bored on me. But I need to explain to you Christianity, how it works on a scientific level, since you're probably clueless. And I think most Christians are clueless. So this is going to be about a time thing where God showed me a revelation. He actually slowed down time. So stick with me. We'll get to that. Oh, what was I getting ready to say? Now I just lost what I was going to say. So I use a different part of my brain. It's very similar to how you dream. And I can very quickly forget about what I'm talking about, because just like you forget your dreams when you wake up, I use that area of my brain. Oh, and if I'm not careful, I'll forget what I'm talking about. And just give you another thing about the way I think is also, if I listen to music, my brain because I don't use one area of my brain. The words, unless I hear a song like a million times, I can't remember the words. But I know the tone of the music because my brain remembers that, but it doesn't remember the words. I can't tell you the words of a song. Now, how my brain can cut between the two, it's just a different part of the brain. So I just forgot what I was going to say because I was using the daydream part of my word. What was I going to really say? But I need to learn to use my brain a little bit better. What was I getting ready to say? If I'm not careful, I'll forget something deep. Because I was thinking about something deep. Oh no. I can't rewind this to see what it was I was getting ready to say. And it was good too. It's a shame. Well, I think it's lost forever, whatever it was. That's a shame, because it was really good. Rats. It was really a good thought, deep thought. Anyway, I guess I'll just talk about the time thing, I guess. Yeah, whatever it was, I forgot whatever it was. So the time thing, I know I was talking about consciousness of some kind. The time thing, oh, now I know what I was going to talk about. Okay, got it. Thank you, brain. Oh, I was going to explain to you on a scientific level what it is to be born again. I'm glad. Okay, I got it. I was going to explain to you on a scientific level what born again is. Everything that you build in science is a sensor, right? You know, I got sensors just to see in my everyday life. Matter of fact, I got triple sensors. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I don't know if you can, because now I can't see the screen without my glasses. But there's actually 3 different lenses in here for me to see in 3 different... Oh, great. How'd that happen? This has to do with light. Either that or smeared the camera. Oh, there we go. So I've got 3 different lenses on my glasses to see in 3 different zones, which I can't see in. I need lenses to see in. But you have to have a sensor to see anything. Microscope, telescope, hadron collider. We build bigger and bigger telescopes to see deeper and deeper. We did things to actually kind of see the atom almost, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know about this kind of stuff. But what I do know is one truth, that to discover something, you need a sensor. You have to be able to see it, right? So everything about science is building better sensor to sense what you can't see, for the most part, isn't it? Or to understand something that you know is there, but yet you can't see it, just like dark energy or dark matter. You know it's there, but you don't know how to sense it. You don't know what it is. You don't, or maybe you do, I don't know. So, this thing called time, So anyway, that's what the born again experience does. So for 48 years, I've been born again. So I had a sensor that y'all didn't have for 48 years, not unless you've been born again. And if you're born again, doesn't necessarily mean your sensor works that good. Because depending on how close you get to God, the closer you get to God, the better the sensor works. Matter of fact, if some of you scientists would get close to God, you would find out that He would show you things that would win you Nobel Prizes, just to be honest with you. He would. He's that way. But you don't know that. But, so I've got 48 years, which is almost a lifetime. Some people only live, my brother only lived 53 years. So I got a lifetime of experiences of having a sensor, just like you sense, build the Hadron Collider, which is a sensor, or sensors to sense those particles. What are those particles that came off from a black hole in space that collided and it caused the fabric of time to do something or other? Forget what those particles are that you wanted to sense. But anyway, you sense them. You build a sensor that was sense enough to sense them, right? So the born again experience, that's all it is a sensor. So Jesus said, "Let the dead bury the dead," right? So that a dead person in a casket, they don't their senses don't work, right? Can we agree on that? If you're in a casket, you're not seeing, you're not hearing, you're not smelling, you're not thinking, not feeling. And we know there's plenty other senses. Just thought is a sensor. Thinking is a sensor, like Einstein was doing. He was sensing the world by thought. He was using a sensor of his brain, which I call the heart in the Bible. He's using that to explore. He's exploring the universe with his brain. By the existing knowledge that he had of things, he was exploring by intelligent thought, using his sensor to understand, to sense, the most powerful sensor we have. So anyway, so that's why I'm different than you. That's why I believe in God and you don't, and you can't sense God. Because there's a veil between, a veil is like a dimensional fabric, right? Between God's reality and yours. And let me tell you something about God's reality. I mean, you can get this information from near-death experiences, but in God's reality, there is no time. As far as how I discovered it two ways. One, by my sensor. Two, and not only me, but someone that was totally unsaved that doesn't know anything about God sensed it also, but I'll get to that. So, so I have a sensor that you don't have, and that's all it is. So the Bible even talks about the veil was torn between us and God. But there's a veil between us and these other dimensions. All it is a veil. Now, we see how gravity and space tears the fabric of space and time and puts a hole in it, right? But what's interesting is that nothing can escape without being purified. Totally purified by gravity, heat. And then people who have near-death experiences go through a tunnel. They do a dimensional shift. And what they do is they shift into a place in which I've heard many people say there's just no time there. Now, as far as my revelation of time, I just wanted to put that up there. As far as my revelation of time, maybe you can explain this, because I know what is out there in God's dimension, in God's space and time, or whatever, even though it's not space and time. I already know what's out there because he showed me. Why? Because I have a sensor you don't have. It's as simple as that. So he showed me something you guys would love to know. So since he showed me, I'm going to throw it out there for you to play with, and you can figure it out. You can come to one of the conclusions you want to come to, but I have an advantage that no one in the universe, no one in the earth has. Now Moses had that. Moses knew it. And I'm not the only one that knows about this kind of stuff. And I'll show you that story next. But I was praying, and I felt time slow down, and I thought, well, maybe that's what you just feel when you pray. But if you know anything about a Bible, and stick with me, I can feel you I can feel your negativity. Just have an open mind. Just dispel your negativity and just listen with these things called ears. These are USB ports, and just listen to the information before you come to any conclusions. Just let it flow into your ears without any judgment interrupting, okay? Because I could sense that you were starting to go in that direction. Why? Because I got a sensor. Very sensitive. And that's the kind of sensors you build to, neutrinos to catch, so you can know a black hole and smack together. Well, I got a sensor too. Don't tell me I don't, because I do. I just sensed it. So anyway, just listen. Don't let any thoughts, treat thoughts as if they are opposing obstacles to blocking this information you're about ready to receive. Just don't let those thoughts arise. Keep them at bay, because they're going to try to rise. Just keep them at bay. Keep them silent. Okay, now that we've settled that, and I know this all seems strange to you, but I've studied the mind for a long time, and I studied thought processes, and I know how the human mind thinks, and I know it way beyond what you understand. So anyway, so I'm praying, and just like when Jacob got the birthright in the Bible, he thought the place it was at was Bethel. Now bear with me. There you go again. He was at Bethel. And he thought, well, the place must be special. But no, what was special is he stole the birthright. Now we know that Jesus, he says he's a door. What do you think he's a door to? Another dimension. Now when Adam and Eve sinned, they went through a doorway. They went through another dimension from life to death. They shifted. That's why when Jesus came, he said, the kingdom of God has come unto you, because the doorway came back. The portal came back. Now, the portal is an informational portal, and the portal of Jesus is called the Word. And it's a word of truth. Now, the only way you can solve anything in science is come to the absolute truth. That's it. There's no other way. Now, see how that kind of agrees with Christianity as far as real Christianity, not false Christianity. So there's a portal of truth which information can be exchanged, right? So when Jacob stole the birthright, he coveted it, he wanted it, he stole it. There was a portal that opened, and all of a sudden he thought the place with the out was special, but it wasn't the place, it was what he stole. It was the birthright, the promise, the word, a portal, the doorway, information, Jesus, in a sense. The access of Jesus. And you would say, well, why is that Jesus? Because Jesus is the Word of God. A promise of God is a portal, it's an opening. Jesus is the Word. He's also the door. It's a portal. So anyway, he gets that, and right away he goes to sleep and he sees angels ascending and descending. And he thinks the place is special, calls it Bethel, but it's not. It's what he stole, which was the birthright. Caused a connection, which they lost in Genesis. They lost the connection in Genesis. Adam and Eve lived in the kingdom. They were connected to the kingdom, which is a portal that, believe it or not, stopped time. But God had a backup plan, people that were keeping the earth, which you see in the fossil record, but Adam and Eve, they didn't have any children. Immediately they start having children after the fall. As soon as they step out of this time thing that they were in. Now I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Let me talk about my time revelation. So anyway, so I'm praying. I feel time slowing down. I think, well, maybe that's just a feeling you feel when you pray. You know, this is like 40 years ago. So I'm praying a second time, and boy, this time I am like connected powerfully. I mean, I can feel time powerfully slowing down. I mean, I've really cracked into the portal of this. And time is powerfully slowing down. And I was in a car, and I've never smoked pot in my life, never taken a drug. Worked in the medical field for 20 years, studied the mind for 10 years, not stupid at all on this stuff. My friend, we never even know what pot was. We didn't know any drug, never took any. And it was irrelevant because he had no clue I was praying. So I'm praying. Time powerfully slows down. I mean, you could really feel it. And you know it's time. I thought, the first thing I had time in my experience, I thought, well, that's time slowing down. So I'm praying again, and I can just feel time slowing down. I mean, it is just slowing down. It's slowing down powerfully, and I can feel it. And see, when Adam and Eve sinned, time resumed just like that. I mean, just boom, time resumed for them. Just like that. But anyway, before I get to that, which I just did, before I get to that, I'm praying and time is like slowing down. I mean, it's just, whoa, I'm in this portal of time slowing down. You could feel it. And I knew what it felt like. And I thought, well, it's just a spiritual thing you can feel. Maybe it has nothing to do with real time, I thought. But there was a guy next to me driving the car, and he bared witness. He wasn't a Christian, had no clue I was praying, had no clue. I had no clue he could feel it. So time is powerfully slowing down. I mean, it's like crazily powerfully slowing down. And he just looks over at me in a panic, and he's like, time is slowing down. He's like freaking out. He don't know why it's slowing down. He don't know what the hell's going on. I knew what was going on because I'd prayed before and time slowed down. So time is slowing down, you know, and as soon as I stop praying and I disconnect from praying, and I look over at him, you know, here's me. I'm in the passenger seat with my head forward praying, and he doesn't have no clue I'm praying. So time finally slows down. He's over this one. He says, he's in a panic, like, time's slowing down. You know, he's like freaking out. And this is a very intelligent guy that's a nurse to this day, and he sounded alert, totally sound-minded individual. I don't even know if he remembers it because I didn't tell him what was going on. To this day, his name was Ralph, guy I grew up with. became a nurse, worked as a nurse for, well, as far as I know, he still works as a nurse. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in 20 years. But anyway, he's like saying time's going. I just kind of look over at him and look at his face like, you know, I didn't say a word because I was embarrassed because I was praying. I was a young introverted kid, you know, and very, you know, I don't even know I was praying. So as soon as I disconnect from praying, time resumes. You could feel it. He could feel it. I watched him feel it. I watched him. I literally watched him. I knew he could feel it, and I felt it. And as soon as I disconnect from praying, all of a sudden time just resumes. And as soon as it resumes, he realizes that it's gone and that he's not feeling it no more. And then all of a sudden he has a moment where he's like, he thinks he's gone crazy or something. I knew what was going on. I never told him. So I just looked at him like, you know, like he was losing it. I mean, I didn't say nothing. And so I forgot about that encounter. It never happened again when I was praying. But I'm just curious, if you guys knew that time doesn't exist in the kingdom of heaven. I'm just curious if you guys knew that. And I'm kind of curious. Now it's interesting. I don't know if that means anything that time slowed down. I don't know what that really means. If I would have prayed long enough, it would have stopped, or can it stop completely? But what I know for sure is it slowed down greatly. I mean, it really slowed down. And I know you think I'm crazy. And that's okay. That's fine. I've studied the mind. I know how it all works. It's not real complicated. It's pretty simple, really. I might write a book called The Owner's Manual of a Mind. So if you know how to use this, if you can control this, there ain't much you can't do. You can be president of the United States if you want to. If you can control it. It takes a little bit of discipline, but it can be done. I mean, I can take someone that and make them president of the United States just by the way they think. It's not hard. I can teach someone to be a Navy SEAL. It's not hard. I think these people have figured this stuff out. I think a lot of people have figured this stuff out. It's not real complicated. I did watch a video about 10 years ago about how they teach Navy SEALs do a thing called self-talk, but I'm not going to get into all that. But it's very simple in what they're doing. I don't know if they're aware of what they're doing. I don't believe what they said in the video. They talked to the amygdala like that. Yeah, I don't know about all that. Because you don't have to trigger the amygdala to shift in that part of your brain, because I lived there for 40 years. So don't sit there and tell me it's the amygdala. Bullcrap. That's ridiculous. Silliness. Idiocy. Now, I'm not saying that it couldn't trigger you to go there, perhaps. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just curious, if you guys knew that, and if that would help you in your quest to understand time. But it's interesting how I connected to that other kingdom. See, Adam and Eve, God had a backup plan. That was what I believe. That's why you see the fossil record. That's why you see the fossil record of plus I think they were two different total species. And one was dominant over the other. And I think God tried to almost eradicate the other. I don't know. Something was going on. I'm not a Bible theologian. I don't read the Bible much at all, but something happened when the two DNA, when the sons of God, which was Adam and Eve that never died, because they didn't die until after the fall, because they were connected to the kingdom, and there was no time where the little area they were at. I have a feeling if you dug deep enough in Israel, so I have a feeling the Garden of Eden's right there in Israel. If you dug deep enough, I have a feeling you would get down deep enough, you'd find that that area of the earth, the ground per se, would show a carbon record of only 6,000 years. You'd have to dig deep enough, though, to that time frame. I mean, that means you'd have to go down, what? How many years is that? Since I have no clue, to be honest. I'm not a theologian. So I guarantee you dig down there, you're going to see something that's going to blow your mind. If that's really where the Garden of Eden was, you're going to see that didn't age in that area. That's just a theory of mine. It has to be true. But then there was something blocking entering the Garden of Eden, so I don't know. Well, they just recently found the Ark of the Covenant. Ron Wyatt did. And you can look at my last video if you don't believe me. I just made a video, 8-hour-long video. But, well, they found it. But the way I see it is that Adam and Eve, somehow the two merged and they got cut down to 120 years when their two DNA mingled. Something happened when the two mingled, produced giants, and changed their lifespan to 120 years. As far as I know, I'm not reading the Bible real careful, so I'd like to, but I'm not that. I just go by revelation more than I do reading things. I'd like to read it. I just don't have opportunity. I guess I made an 8-hour video last night. I guess I don't have time for other things, I guess. And I assure you, I am not crazy in the least. I'm a lot more sane than the people in Washington, that's for sure. I have no clue why they're underneath the spell they are. I even talked about that a little bit in my last video. It's just a spell. That's all it is. Very simple. I mean, I could explain it to you very simply, but I don't think I'm going to do that. It's just a very simple spell that humans get underneath. And I know a way to keep humans from falling into that spell. And once they do it, they act more like Joe Rogan, to be honest with you. And there's some Christians out there, I suppose, that aren't in that spirit. But anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to throw out that for you guys to play with, to think about. And if you notice in the Bible that Abraham, as soon as God will start to turn things around, when Abraham believed God, which Eve believed God's word, right? Or Satan's word, went through that doorway of Satan, entered into the earth dimension. God says, "Where art thou?" They shifted from no time to time. So they disconnected themselves from the kingdom. There's no time in the kingdom. So they entered into death, started dying. Then two species merged. One that was keeping the earth, that were being fruitful and multiplying, merged with the ones that didn't die. The Adam and Eve that were more like angels in a sense, I think. I don't know. That's just my theory with the time revelation. I could be wrong. But all I know is God separated Abraham from the rest of mankind as soon as he started turning things around, then he resurrected Sarah's seed because it was dead. She was old enough for it to be dead. Then that seed got passed to Mary, and then of course the Catholics completely foolishly worship Mary and build idols over. But they might as well worship Sarah. Her seed was the one that was resurrected, not Mary's. That was just passed to Mary, and then it was joined with Jesus' seed, and that's how things got reversed per se. Then if you want to look at my last video, it'll take you a while to get to it, but they found Jesus' blood, and this is verifiable for three tests in 3 different countries. They found Jesus' blood, and they found out that it came alive when they put it. They found the Ark of the Covenant. They found that Jesus was crucified right over the Ark, and that his blood dripped on the Ark, exactly in the place on the Ark it was supposed to. They took some of that blood. There's three tests out there that show that this blood, it actually came alive when they tested it. It became living again. So it's all this is verifiable. Now it's kind of covered up a little bit probably, but it's out there. And they found the Ark too. You can watch my last video. But anyway, I can't think of anything else I want to say. But it's all not real complicated. Oh, in case you don't believe in the seed, the seed's the most powerful thing there is. A seed speaks and creates every life form that you know of by the ability of it to speak. Just so you know, the word God is a 4-letter word, not 3-letter. And God's in the King James Version of the Bible 4,444 times, not an accident, because DNA has 4 letters. And the word God itself has 4 letters. And Jesus, who's the Word, which everything was made from the Word, has 4 letters. And a seed has 4 letters. A cross, 4 points. I just found out today that Genesis 4:4, where they speak about sacrificing the lamb, I didn't know that till today. Genesis 4:4 talks about the first scripture of the Lamb of God. Oh, lamb, that's a new one. I never saw that before. Lamb, L-A-M-B, lamb. Lamb is 4 letters, right? I didn't know that until today, until just now. But Genesis 4:4, there's her 4s again. Talks about the Lamb of God. Blood sacrifice. Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that one till just now. But the other 4 is Jesus the King, 4 letters. Seed, biggest one is a seed because DNA has 4 letters. It creates all life by speaking. Speaking, you know, speaking creates a lot more than what you think it does. That's why Maxine Walters made this video. Well, I ain't gonna show it. She didn't make the video, someone else did. Serpent does a lot of speaking. That's how you create things, by speaking. But you know, your cells, every cell speaks, and it creates a cell in its what? In its image. Image, speaking, creation, image. So everything that's alive has DNA which speaks. What else has 4? Cross has 4 points. Closest disciple to Jesus, which is John, 4 letters, who wrote the 4th gospel. Paul has 4 letters. God, who's love, 4 letters. Gift of the Spirit, a gift. Something comes from God. Gift of the Spirit, gift, 4 letters. And I just discovered today, because I actually read a little bit of my Bible today, read a few verses, 4 verses in Genesis. from chapter 4 to 4, and I thought, well, I bet you 4:4 shows something. And it did. Genesis 4:4 speaks of the first sacrifice of the lamb, 4 letters, of God, which God's 4 letters in Hebrew. But anyway, I got a sensor. I don't need all this. I don't need all that. Even the man in the Bible looked like a little seed. The universe, duh, came from something smaller than a singularity. Duh, seed, duh. See how it came from something smaller than an atom? Singularity, seed, duh. Are you starting to wake up a little bit on how all this works? So the true secret of the revelation of time has to be in what? What? Where would the true revelation of what time is? Where would that be? In a seed. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. And what's a seed? What is a seed? Is it a seed, an atom? What is it? What is it?